because it's been won. Some audience member has just nailed it, and nothing will ever be as perfect as... I was in Killarney, right? And I had a routine about stupid things you do on your holidays, right? Where I would generally ask the audience, hey, what's the stupidest thing you've ever done on your holiday, right? This guy gave an answer that I frankly, I should have given him a diploma at the end of it, because it was such a sweet, beautiful, perfect, it was lovely as a short thing. And comedians love brevity, by the way. We love that, just beautiful. They love it, it's like Twitter. I love Twitter, mainly because it's allowed up to 40,000 people to contact me directly and tell me I look like Gru from Despicable Me. And it has been amazing for me. It's beautiful. We love a bit of brevity, right? So I'm chatting to this audience. I'll give an example. I would ask the audience, what is the stupidest thing you've ever done on your holidays? Just throw out the first line of it. What's the stupidest thing you've ever done on your holidays? Lost your passport. Brilliant. First example of everything. Lost your passport. Standard kind of answer. Give me another one. Had sex with a man. A surprisingly common response. And if you're gay, actually not that weird at all. So lost the passport, has sex with a man. Give me one more for the hell of it. Bit by a donkey. That's very much the stupidest thing that donkey did, rather than you, if the truth be told, right? So lost a passport, has sex by a man, bitten by a donkey. It's a hell of a night out, right? It's a fantastic single evening. If you could roll that into one story, you were in the game here, right? That is fantastic. They're all good answers, right? But they could have happened anywhere, right? With respect, you could have lost your passport at home, you could have a sex with a man any way you want. It's on your phone, Grindr, check it out, right? You could go to Blackpool and have sex with a donkey, not have sex with a donkey. Don't go to Blackpool and have sex with a donkey. Of all the things if you take anything away from tonight's show, let it not be that, oh yeah, Blackpool, oh, you can ride the donkeys. For nothing, it's fantastic. It's out of season, they're not getting much work. Anyway, no. You just got to go with this stuff when it happens, right? No, they're all fine things, they're grand stuff. I walked out in Killarney and I said, what is the stupidest thing you've ever done on your holidays? And a man in the front row just raised his hand and went, I kicked an armadillo. Why did you kick an armadillo? And I goes, I don't know. He just walked out in front of me. I don't know what to do. He was on a nature trek with a local guide sympathetically showing him the wildlife. Literally, there's a man at the front with a tree going, if you look up there, you can see that's the nest of the... And let's just pull back the bush. And now, can you see the tracks of the... as it walks through and he's at the back, just minding his own business. And an armadillo walked out in front of him. And he just panicked and went, Jesus! And boom, hoofed it. Properly caught it with the instep, fum fam, right? Lifted it over a tree. Converted the armadillo, right? Now, I have no idea what I find more delicious about story, right? The face of the tour guide going, don't kick the wildlife. Was that not obvious in the general tone of what we're doing here today? Or the armadillo going, this is a bad day for it. Strict about stuff in this country. You've got laws for everything. There's a Road Traffic Act, 1988, includes a law which says you may not drive a car in the UK while operating a handheld microphone. An unbelievably specific law, which is clearly because of one sham which is driving around going, how are you? Hey, you're looking very well. Good to see you. Love the hat, Mary, love the hat. Hang on a second. Hello, officer. What? Well, there's no law against it. Oh, there is? Oh. And now there is a law against it, because you're terribly prescriptive in this country. You think things are all legal or illegal. That's the way it works for you. And there's a line, bang, that's good, that's not good. Not the way we do things in Ireland. In Ireland, we have a greater appreciation of the greyness in the human condition between the white and the black, of the arbiter, of the vagueness, of the fuzziness, of human behaviour. There are 3 states of legality in Irish law. There is all this stuff here, which comes under that's grand. Then it moves into, now, don't push it. And finally into, right, you're taking the piss. And that's where the police sweep in, right? So I drove for years, but finally had to do the test. You know, when you're older, it's a different experience. I mean, my friend with the ambulance thing, what age were you?
18.
You were 18, look, whatever. By the way, as a teenager, did you find it a bit embarrassing being in the stupid-looking car?
I was taught by the Air Force.
You were taught by the Air Force? My Lord, you have a backstory we didn't even get close to asking about here. Why were you taught? Why did somebody leave you outside an Air Force base in a reed basket as a child? And all the officers gather around and go, we shall raise him as our own. And then have a pact where they all went like that. Oh, we agree? All right, Air Force, go! That does make them sound like a gay crime-fighting team, some description. Air Force, go, go, yeah! Sorry, you were taught by the Air Force? Yeah. Was it actual cars, or was you taxied planes up and down, and then they'd like on runways and the lights would stop and you'd have to sit in your F-14 jet and then find the bite spot, find the biting point in the jet. Now indicate where's the blind spot of the jet is everything over the wing over there, right? I'm presuming all this shit, it was just a car.
Land Rover.
A Land Rover? Really? And was there any other unnecessary levels of difficulty they wanted to include? Did you have to do it in the middle of the night under gunfire or something like that? You still have to do like a civilian driver's test.
Civilian driving test, yeah.
But did you go in like the Land Rover?
Yeah.
Was it like, you know, Ford Escort, Ford Escort, Ford Escort, Land Rover, Ford Escort, Ford Escort? So which car would be yours? Man dressed head to toe in camouflage gear and wings? Take a wild guess. Okay, can you read out the registration number? Yes, it's KILLU. Go. Where are we at? The best thing about learning to drive at 34 is, did you ever stall the Land Rover?
Yes.
Yes, you did. I presume nobody behind you went, "Bah." Nobody does that to a Land Rover here with RAF written across it. I said, Jesus, get out of the way. Get out of the way. Like, the door opens and they all go, go, fum, and then jump onto it. When you learn to drive at 17, yes, it is embarrassing. When you stall the car the first time, like whatever, watch out for this, my young friend. It's mortifyingly embarrassing, right? Because you do think at 17, because, you know, you haven't been around the block, you think, Jesus, I am holding up the entire world at this stage. All traffic has halted because of me, and there's a helicopter floating above my head, radioing the news into radio stations going, well, it's all going very well, but one idiot has stalled the car. And there are pregnant women having children behind them who can't get to hospitals, and it's a nightmare, right? At 17, you stall a car, somebody goes beep behind you, you panic, and you start pressing every button in the car, and turning things and moving things and stamping things, and the windscreen wipers are wildly going left and right, and the radio's coming on and off, and it's a nightmare. Not when you're 34. Second lesson, I stalled the car at the lights, didn't quite get the biting point, chug-a-chug, car stopped. A guy in a BMW behind me, like a half a second later, just goes, "Bah!" really, really loudly and really rudely, right? If I was 17, I might have fallen apart. At 34, you have a bedrock of confidence that's built up over the years. I didn't panic. I calmly put on the handbrake, got out of the car, walked back to the man in the BMW and went, is there a problem here, champ, is there? And your man went, I was just thinking that you hadn't quite left from the lights. You're a lot bigger than I was expecting you to be at this time. Yeah, I am a lot bigger. And you're right, I haven't quite left from the lights with the kind of a greyhound out of a trap kind of speed that you're hoping for here. But let's have a look at the entire situation here. Are there any clues, perhaps, in what we see in front of us here as to why I might not have been as fast as other drivers? Take, for example, the giant pyramid of L's on top of the car. What do you think the L might stand for in this situation? Does it mean, warning, driver is lackadaisical? And may need to be reminded of the urgency of your trip? Or does it mean, hey, the guy in this car is louche? I'm likely to be sitting there going, I do not like this green. Let us wait for another green. So satisfying to be able to do that. And then you think of all the other things that at 34 you'd love to go back. Any of those ridiculous run-ins you had as a 17-year-old, whether with your first boss or with people in your class, any time when you came out lesser and now you realize, geez, I didn't have to put up with that. Or women with the best will in the world, you're wonderful creatures. But Jesus, you scared the shit out of me at 17. I'd be in bed with a woman at 17 and if things would go wrong, I would panic. And I start pressing everything and moving things and shifting things around and the head's going wildly left and right. Not anymore. Now I just calmly pull out. I walk around. I go, is there a problem here, chap? Is there? Yeah, I was just thinking, you're a lot smaller than I was expecting you to. One thing I have, because you're touring now, you get a little bit older, you're kind of going, what are we going to pass on? What are we going to pass on to the next generation? Like, particularly, what do we teach our kids? Because I'm kind of in the middle of all that at the moment. And I'm not going to give out anyone here who's a teacher or working in schools or the syllabus or any of that stuff. Good stuff, fantastic, good for you. One of you out tonight. The rest off marking. It's not the stuff you teach, it's the stuff that we teach, right? I just find it bizarre. The preschool syllabus, the stuff that as parents you're supposed to drum into a kid's head, the stuff from 0 to 3, the stuff that presumably we as a society have decided is the fundamental, the bedrock information that we've got to drum into these. That syllabus is unevolved. The amount of effort I put in to teaching animal noises, pairing the same farm animal to the same farm animal noise to two children who live in the middle of London. And at no stage is a cow going to wander randomly into the house and then go, oh my God, a cow. Bah. I mean, they go, you fucking Egypt. It's a cow. We've been training for this situation for years now. Animal noises and ABCs. For those of you either before this or beyond this, ABCs are those big tick page books with one word per page in alphabetical order. And they make perfect sense at the start of the book. Oh, they're magical at the beginning of the book. But when you get to the back of the book, when you start doing the freak letters, you are putting the same amount of effort into teaching words to your children that you as an adult know well they will never get to use as an adult. Xylophone. The hours you spend look at the xylophone, look at the xylophone. Hardly a day goes by as an adult where somebody doesn't go up going, Dara, have you got your xylophone on you? I left my xylophone behind in a bus and I've got a major xylophone-based event coming up this evening. Someday I would like to meet a professional xylophone player. Just to go, how did you get into the xylophone? In the off chance that they'll go, well, in my house, when I was growing up, the xylophone was just as important as apple, ball, or cat. And I'll go, and is your sister a xylophone player? No, she's an X-ray technician. Because they're the only two words you can use. You can only use xylophone and X-ray. You cannot use the third word beginning with X. What is the third word beginning with X? Xenophobia. Well done, chap. Very good. Xenophobia is the third word beginning with X. Xenophobia, the irrational fear of foreigners. I would give anything to have an ABC in which the word for X was xenophobia. Just to turn that page and go, look at those faces. They're different, aren't they, those faces? How does that make you feel inside? You're not sure how it makes you feel inside. You don't know what they want. They want your job. I have an ABC at home in which Y is for yacht. What lifestyle are they preparing this child for? Sitting on the yacht playing me xylophone. He'll be standing on the edge of the boat looking at the dark faces in the harbour.